Hello, hello. I'm Chris of Chrissy's Over the Mountain Crochet, and welcome to my side of the mountain. Today, I want to talk to you about everything pink. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm wearing my pink earrings from Juliana Carney. She made those for me a long time ago. They have a little band on them that says yarn. I have a red pair and a pink pair, and I thought today's a good day to wear my pink yarn earrings and my pink camo shirt, and I have a pink little logo down there. So let's talk about breast cancer awareness and chemo caps. As many of you know, or maybe you don't know, um, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2021, and to say the least, it has been a journey. It has not been as hard as other people's journey or other ladies or other men. I know men can get breast cancer also. If you're watching, please say hello. Tell me where you're from. Tell me if you have any connections with breast cancer and if you crochet and if you plan on crocheting chemo caps for those that are hurting and have breast cancer. So, not everyone that gets breast cancer has to have chemo and has to have radiation. That was the situation with me. And one thing I found out when I first started crocheting chemo caps or designing chemo caps, hi Kay, hi Molly. I don't know if I've met you before. It's good to see you. Where are you from, Molly? Tell me where you're from. But let me talk a little bit about my designing journey when I started making chemo caps. I started making chemo caps years ago when a couple of my girlfriends had cancer, they had chemo, and they asked me for a chemo cap. At that time, I didn't know. I didn't understand what they were going through. And that was what today's chemo cap was. It was one that I sent to my friend so that she could decorate it up. And I used Lion Brand's, that I forget the name of the yarn, but it's the real fuzzy country, but it's not the best yarn for a chemo cap. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But anyway, you're from West Jordan, Utah, close to Lake Cuddy. I don't think I've heard of Lake. Is it Cuddy? Am I saying it right, or is it Cootie? But I don't think Hi, Linda. How are you? I had my cursor over your comment. I didn't see you. And Linda's from Arizona. Her grandmother had breast cancer, and you have several friends who have had it too. And I do know you love to crochet. I know Kay loves to crochet. Molly, do you like to crochet? Also, Lake City, Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. Now that makes sense. All right, Molly, it's good to have you. And Reese, hey, it's good to have you. I had trouble with my extra camera. I had planned on showing how to make that miniature bow that you asked about, Reese. And you're from Arkansas. No cancer in immediate family, but plan on making chemo caps. And that was me. I'm the first person in our family that we know of that has had cancer, except for my uncle. And he was very aged and very quiet. And I didn't gain any knowledge from him. A lot of families know what is going to happen when someone has cancer. I had no clue. I had no clue whatsoever. But I want to go back to my designing chemo caps journey. So when I started designing chemo caps, I put a few chemo caps up, and I always keep in mind that the head is going to be smaller. They're going to lose their hair. And so I designed my first few chemo caps that way. Then I had people coming on and telling me, not very nicely either. They were kind of rude, telling me, "You can't make a chemo cap out of that yarn. That's not acceptable yarn to make a chemo cap." And I was kind of lost. I didn't understand why. Then I participated in Sweet Potato Three's crochet challenge a few times, and I got some of the same kind of comments. Well, when I found out I had breast cancer, while I was waiting, and Molly, you crochet also. That's wonderful. But while I stay to the end, because I'm going to show how to assemble this earring. It's just going to be quick. It won't take very long. I have been wearing this set of earrings, and as you can tell, the pink and the red pumpkin. I'm so ADHD. I'm going from one thing to another. I should try to make my my lives have more continuity. But anyway, they're two different colored pumpkins. So I'll show you how to make that the earring after I get done chatting here about cancer and chemo caps. So when I found out I had cancer, it was in October. It was in at the 1st of November that I had my mastectomy. And you have to wait a while after certain things. You don't know right away. Am I going to have chemo? Am I going to have radiation? I had no clue. They told me that my cancer was very large. My cancer did not show up on a mammogram. I knew something was wrong, but my cancer just didn't show up on a mammogram. And you know what? A lot of cancers on breast cancers, a lot of breast cancers do not show up on mammograms. And a lot of doctors, I'm sure, would like to go ahead and have a breast MRI, but unless they have a high suspicion, the insurance won't cover it. I think I knew something was wrong, but it wasn't until the cancer was so large that you could visibly see it that they were like, okay, this is it. Let's have the breast MRI. And the breast MRI showed that it was breast cancer. Mine never showed up in a mammogram. But like I said, I knew something was wrong. It was progressively getting worse. And so I had a mastectomy. And I didn't have a mastectomy because the cancer was so dangerous, because it really, I guess, as far as a breast cancer, it was a good cancer to get. But it was so large that if they had done a lumpectomy, there's just no way they could have done a lumpectomy. So it was so large. They did a mastectomy, and my surgeon told me, said, you'll probably have to have chemo because it is so large. Well, like I said, no one else in our family had ever had cancer. So I didn't have any cancer genes. I can't talk to you about all of those gene things, but I wasn't a high risk. So I didn't have to have chemo. Hello, Patricia. It's good to see you. So while I was waiting to find out if I was going to get breast cancer or not, get chemo or not, and whether I was going to lose my hair, I knew it was going to be going into January. And in West Virginia, January is very cold. And I wanted to feel pretty. I wanted to be warm and I wanted to feel pretty. So I made my first chemo cap for me. I didn't care what all of the naysayers were saying. I was going to make this for me. And it was the pink fuzzy with a turned up pink brim. That was what I knew I wanted to wear. I had a pink coat, and I was going to wear my pink coat, and I was going to wear my pink hat if I lost my hair. And at the time, I thought, I'll be comfortable in that. Well, I found out later, because I didn't have to have chemo, but I did try the hormone blockers. And I found out through research and talking with people and talking with ladies who've gone through chemo that your skin gets very irritated, especially if you're losing your hair. Your hair follicles get so sore that your skin gets so sensitive. Cold air after you've had hair is so irritating to your scalp. So you want something that is warm, soft, and comfortable. And so I learned that what I had made, because after I found out I didn't have to have chemo, I donated them to the cancer center. And I stopped in and I asked them, I said, is it okay if I donate this kind of hat? And they said, sure. There are folks that if you're crocheting and donating to a cancer center, do what you want to do, unless they have strict guidelines. They told me that there are people that are not sensitive. There are some that are sensitive and some that aren't sensitive. And there are even folks that get sores on their head if you're making for the general cancer population. So that fuzzy cap that I made would not have been appropriate for them. But if you're making a pile of hats to donate to a cancer center and they will accept your pile of hats, make what you want to make. But if you have a loved one and you're really wanting to minister to them, talk to them. Find out, hey, is your skin sensitive? Is it uncomfortable for you to have something touching your head? Because I did take hormone blockers and they made me feel touchy. I didn't want anything touching my skin. I was just real touchy. I couldn't tolerate. Not everybody has that issue. Not every. There are people that can handle the hormone blockers very well. I wasn't able to handle the hormone blockers. So no hormone blockers, no chemotherapy, but I did try the hormone blockers for about a month and a half, and I couldn't get out of the car. I couldn't walk. And they wanted me to do that for 5 years, and I just said, I can't do this. I just cannot do this. So that's what I've learned about chemo caps. 100%. This is what I've learned about chemo caps. 100% cotton. If someone has sensitive skin, is not good. Even Hobby Lobby's, I love this cotton because when you wash it, it feels like dishcloth cotton. But the cotton blends. Cotton acrylic is very soft. And I've washed the mandala acrylic, and you wash it up and it is beautifully soft. It's very nice. So there are some acrylics. Don't let anyone tell you, no, you can't use acrylic. Even if someone has sensitive skin, if you do your research and find a good acrylic yarn and wash it up really good to make sure it's not the least bit scratchy. Now, Care on Simply Soft is not a good one if they have, and the cap that I showed today and all of the super fuzzy Lion brand. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of that yarn. They don't sell it very much anymore. It has the nubbies in it. Or has the roving in it. That is not good. If it's an acrylic that is slicky, soft, it's irritating to the skin. Okay, so am I the expert? No, but I'm just going to tell you what I know and what I think I know. So if you have a loved one, find out where they are in their sensitivity journey. If you're making caps and you just want to donate a pile of caps, you just do what you want. Just do what you want. I'm going to take a minute here and read some comments. So Kay said, all right. Kay Mathis said her group made chemo hats, and they had a request for men's hats. Exactly. That was the other thing that they said to me. And I'll tell you about another type of chemo hat that I donated to them, and they were happy to get them. And my cancer center said men need hats. So men colors, not just female colors. And Patricia Kennedy, you can use worsted weight. You can use a bulky yarn. I have a chemo cap design that I used 2 strands of 3 weight. It was Lion brand Kubu. And I used 2 strands, held them together, and it made like a bulky, thick hat. But it was very good yarn, and it would be good for someone if they're, out in the cold and they need a little bit of protection. So I use anything you want to use, you can use to make a chemo cap. It's the fiber, it's the content, it's how it's going to feel next to the skin. And Patricia said she likes using the soft yarns. Just remember that Hobby Lobby's I Love This Cotton, it has something on it. They must put something on the yarn because when you wash it and you pull it out of the dryer, it feels like dishcloth cotton. It's not soft after that. I don't know if they do something. But Patricia Kennedy says, my family is riddled in cancer. Her grandmother had breast cancer. Grandpa had skin cancer. And her mom had ovarian cancer. Your dad had lung and esophagus cancer. And he passed from that. And her sister has uterine cancer. Wow, that's a lot, Patricia. That's a lot. And I'm sorry. Is everyone okay? Is everyone okay except for your dad? And how is your sister doing? Is she in treatment? Um, you probably are used to making chemo caps for people that are hurting, aren't you? I just want to dispel the myths that people have thrown out and said toward me and hurt my feelings before I got cancer. Now they're not going to hurt my feelings because I feel like I know what is really going on. But um there's no need to just go out and tell anybody what they can and can't do. You can advise people and you can talk nicely to people and you can share what knowledge you have, but don't tear people down because they don't do um oh, Molly, I'm sorry. How old was your sister, Molly? I apologize. I'm so sorry that you lost your sister. That is sad. And there are families that do have a lot of cancer, and mine didn't. And I had a hard time with, and I may talk about that another time. I had a hard time with my doctor because I didn't know what to ask. I didn't know how to communicate with her, my oncologist. But I have a good oncologist now. I'm thankful for that. Um, the other kind of chemo hat that I have gotten a hard time for was this, and that's the mesh chemo hats. They look like sun hats. I use Lion Brand Kubu or Kobu, however you want to pronounce it. It's the cotton bamboo blend. And I made a mesh chemo cap because when you're taking hormone blockers, I don't know if they give hormone blockers to folks that have other kinds of cancers, but I know they're right on people who have breast cancer. And one of the side effects is monster hot flashes and sweating. My, oh my, it is horrible. And I have had a few people say, "Oh, that's awful. No one wants to wear a mesh chemo cap." And then I've had more folks come to me and say, "Thank you for making this. This is a help to me," because they want to cover their head, but they can't handle a whole hat. It's too hot, especially if you're hot flashing. I don't know how many years they've been giving hormone blockers, but man, they're nasty. I know they're needful, but I decided since I had a cancer that wasn't real harsh, I decided I wasn't going to put myself through that. I just could not handle that anymore. Patricia, her grandma and mom went through radiation and are fine now. Well, praise the Lord. They froze or did something like froze her area and she is fine now. Well, praise the Lord. Her grandpa, they removed 2 spots and he passed, but he passed from old age. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm, you know, life is tough. The older you get, the harder it gets. Life is tough. And I hope I live to an old age, but if I don't, I'm okay with going now. I know my family doesn't like it when I talk like that, but when I found out I had cancer, one of the first things I thought was, I'm going to get to go to heaven pretty soon. I was kind of like, yay. But then when it came time for me to tell my children I had cancer, that was hard. And so that thought left. And I mean, I still kind of have that thought, but that idea of telling them that and saying that to them, I know it was hard. It was harder on them, I think, than it was me having cancer. But yeah. Um, Linda says, there's so much anger and hatred in the world, and how sad they treated you so badly. I know. They could have just helped you understand why you might not want to use certain yarn or cap style. Exactly. Um, Thank you, Reese. She says, my thoughts exactly. My family doesn't know it when I tell them I'm at ease and ready when I've been called home. Yep, I'm going to be relieved to go. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And I'm hoping all of my family will come with me and I'll see them all in heaven. And I hope I see you all too. Won't it be a great time up there? We'll get our yarn. Yep, I'm ready anytime also. I'm ready. I'm so thankful that I'm ready and I have that peace. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. So, let me show you real quick how to make that earring. All right, on here. So I have a 4.5 inch piece of metallic twine. I have two little pumpkins. One, two. All right, I'm going to put a dollop of glue right here. This will only take a second. I'm going to put a dollop of glue right here and stick the twine in, and then we'll wait. We can chat while I'm waiting for it. And someone asked me what kind of glue I use. I use hot glue. I've been using hot glue on my crocheted items for a long time. How about you all? Um, oh, I'm glad I'll see you, Linda. I'm so glad I'll see you. You'll see me too. Oh, I'm so thankful for what God has done in my life. Uh, I don't know where I would be. I don't know where I would be if it were not for the Lord. And I know if it weren't for the Lord, I wouldn't have handled my cancer diagnosis as well as it didn't. I wasn't frightened. It didn't scare me at all. I was like, okay, I've just got something I have to deal with. But um, I will say that finding undergarments has not been easy because your skin gets really sensitive. They cut so many nerves right down through into my arm, and I'm just now starting to feel normal. And it's been almost 4.5 years. But I'm wishing I kind of wish I had pushed and said something is wrong, something is wrong, something is wrong, and maybe they could have done a lumpectomy. But I didn't. So, all right, that's hard right now. Do you all have any questions for me about breast cancer that maybe I could answer? I'm not an expert. And the whole thing is everyone has a different experience. Everyone's experience with any kind of cancer, I'm sure, is different. All right, so I put a little dollop of glue right there beside the leaf. And these are so simple to make. And I'm just going to hold it until it dries hard. Yes, Linda, I had the peace that passes all understanding. God's been good to me. I am so thankful. I am so thankful. I'm going to hold on to that for a minute. All right, now I have this earring wire. I need to check on Hobby Lobby's website. I thought they said it was 18 karat gold. It might not be 18 karat gold, but it's really comfortable on my ears. So I'm going to stagger my earrings. I'm going to have the blue down low, and then I'm going to pinch right here. And then put a dollop of glue, but I'm going to leave a little bit of an opening, but I'm going to put a dollop of glue right. I don't know if you can see that. I put the glue right there. It's not a lot. I'm going to let it start to get hard, and then I'm going to start pinching it, and that will take a little bit of time. I think I'm going to have to invest in it's 18 karat gold plated. Okay, thank you. Which I don't know. I don't. Is it wrong for me to hold it up and say this size? I don't have my. I don't have a tape measure or anything right with me. I'm going to hold that closed so that it dries. She said they have a few different options on these as far as size. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Well, I tell you what, it's kind of hard to get these things in because you have to really stretch this. My earlobes are fat, and I have to open this up really hard to get the wire in my ear. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think, let me make sure this is solidified. I might be able to get this ribbon, this bow tied for you here on the live. Oh, I can be a nut. All right. So now I have this little hole right here. I'm going to feed the wire right through the hole. Well, I thought I was going to feed the wire right through the hole. Let's try that again. Here we go. And then bloop, it goes right down onto that little loop area. Now I'm going to make a bow and stick it right there. Let me see if I can do this on the camera. All right, I have 1/8 inch copper metallic ribbon. I'm going to make a video and put it up on YouTube when I get done here. It shouldn't take me very long. Unless I'm stupid when I'm recording, I won't have to do much as far as editing. So I'm going to make a little loop. I put the waist tail. This is the tail. Wait a minute. Is that right? No. Okay. The tail comes to the front. And then I pinch it. Let me see if I can turn. And then I pinch. And this is the bow end. Then I pick up the yarn. Now you can see this loop is kind of big. It'll get smaller. Then I pick up the yarn and I wrap it around my thumb and my finger. You guys probably know how to make a pull tie bow. And then I shove it through the hole. And I pull. And it's very big. But I make it smaller. I'm holding on to the knot while I do this. Make the loops really small. And then the center knot gets big again. So you have to pull it. And it's still too big. So you adjust the loops again. And you adjust the loops again. And that center knot gets big again. And then you just pull. And then you really tight. And then you pull the loops down again. And now I have give it one more tug. And now I have a miniature bow. I don't know why people put their hand up. I'm not having any luck with this thing. Yeah, miniature bow. All right, let me clip those off and glue it onto the front of the. You really need to put fray check on the ends of your ribbon also. So I'm going to glue the bow right here over, right there, over where that loop is. I get my glue gun. Oh, come on, Patricia. That ribbon is small. Linda, I can't make bows. Well, actually, I have made so many bows over the years. You start out on the big bows and then work your way up. Whoops. And there we go. There's the little bow. That's not my best bow. Sometimes when you're under pressure, you don't do as well. But now I have a matching set of pumpkin. Are they the right color? They're not the same color. Yeah, they are. Are they not? I think that adds to the beauty of it all, don't you? Well, been goofing off and it came off the earring wire. I think that's close enough, don't you? Close enough? Yeah, you know what? I think I have seen tiny miniature bows at Walmart actually, right above the ribbon section. Thank you, Molly. All right, Patricia. Do you all have any questions for me about breast cancer awareness? What do you think of the Hope and Harvest event? Do you like the Hope and Harvest event? My thoughts, I may not be able to share a chemo cap every single day. Um, I was at Dollar General, no, Dollar Tree today, and they have some bubblegum pink chenille yarn. And I think I might design a chemo cap with a bubblegum pink chenille yarn. Now, do I think a bubblegum you have to make some earrings? Yeah. Or you could actually, I forgot to mention this. You can use baker's twine to put into the pumpkins. And then you could also, instead of putting a bow right here, you could feed a bead. So before you glue the baker's twine down into the ends of the pumpkin, you take your 4.5 inch, you take your 4.5 inch piece of baker's twine and feed that into the bead. And you make that bead come right up to the edge right here and leave a little loop, so that little hole, so you can feed the baker's twine onto the earring wire, and then you push that bead up and then use a little bit of super glue gel and stick it up in the hole of the bead. And stick it up in the hole of the bead, and you can use a bead instead. I think I'm going to try that next, because I like the idea of look, here's some gray twine also. Isn't that pretty? I got that at Joann's years ago, and Joann's isn't around anymore. All right. Um, Linda, I agree. It was disturbing that my cancer was not showing up. They had me coming every 6 months for 2.5, 3 years. And when it got really painful, I mean, I had a lot of pain shooting through the side, and I could feel you could almost pick up what was in there with my hand, and I could feel it. And the last mammogram I went to, the lady came out and she said, "The doctor says you really don't need to come every 6 months." And I said, "Well, what about the pain that I'm having?" And she said, "Well, it's just really close." I had had a lumpectomy like 6 years before. And they said, "Well, it's just a bunch of cysts that are sitting around that scar tissue. And that must be what's making the pain." Well, it wasn't a few months later, just like 3 or 4 months later, my breast just distorted. It it didn't look right. And it was visible from the outside. And went to the doctor, and man, he just kind of ran out of the office and come back and said, "Can you go get a mammogram now?" And I said, "Well, what's the use?" And so he said, "Please." And I said, "Okay." And so I went and got the mammogram, and he said, "I'm making you an appointment with a surgeon." I think it was the next day. I said, "Okay." So I went to the surgeon. He was older. He was getting ready to retire. Real friendly guy. And I said, "What do you think it is?" He goes, "It's cancer." He said, "I'm sending you for a breast MRI." I said, "Well, okay, it's cancer." And he said, "I'm sending you for a breast MRI, and then I want to do a biopsy like a day or two later." I said, "All right." And I remember when I was getting ready for the biopsy, he came in real cheerful, and I said, "What should I tell my children?" And I said, Should they be afraid? What should I tell them? He said, you tell them it's lobular cancer. It's not, and that's all. No, that's all he said. He said, tell them it's lobular or lobular, Lobular. And my children are real geeky anyway. And so at least I had something to tell them when I did tell them. But boy, was that hard to tell my kids I had breast cancer. That wasn't fun at all. Molly, I do have the pumpkin tutorial. Actually, it should be in the description of this live video. The video is up. The video is up on how to make the earrings. Also, is it the earrings? Yeah, the earrings. And then I'm going to do a few more things with these little pumpkins. Molly, if you haven't seen my tumbler wrap, let me get turned around here. I don't know, Molly, if you have seen my tumbler wraps that I've crocheted. This bow is glued on. This is from Hobby Lobby. I don't know if you've seen these. They're little miniature leather tags. But, and then you can make a button loop. I have several of these videos, but these come right off. They're really easy to come off, and then you can put them back on. But keep in mind, there is a bottom to these tumbler wraps. This is not stretchy. The top is stretchy. But I have been thinking that everyone's puts charms on their handles, or they just put charms on their tumbler wrap. So I'm thinking about putting some pumpkins on baker's twine and making little charms for your tumbler wrap. I should try to make myself a pumpkin applique too. Yes, the tumbler wraps are easy. And then I need to get the pattern written. I need to actually, I don't know if you saw this last week or not, but here's a water bottle carrier that I kind of like. And it's really tight. It's on here really tight. But I'm going to put little bows right here. And then sew on the sewing machine, sew some ribbon right through there. But I won't be going live this coming week. I'll be traveling a little bit this coming week. I'll try to go live the week after. Friday nights at 7 is my best time. I'll think up something to do, but we'll talk about cancer again if you need to, and a little bit more about my journey or about others' journey. How do you say that? Others' journey. And I know Cheryl Klassen said she's 8 years out from cancer, breast cancer. Thank you. Thank you. I'm hoping to go see some of my grandchildren this coming week. Yeah, the tumbler wraps. The tumbler wrap pattern is free on the website. I haven't had, it'll be this month sometime. I haven't had a time of sharing the free crochet pattern for this. I'm in the process of writing the crochet pattern for this. I just get so involved, and I'm like, oh, I need a picture of this. I need a picture for that. And I have to go hunting through the videos, and I need to write the crochet pattern for this. And I just I have a lot of crochet patterns I need to write. And so some of my new crochet patterns I have not put up for free. That'll probably be toward the end of the month. But I have several pumpkin patterns I want to share with you guys this month. And a little turkey sweater I made for my granddaughter that my daughter wouldn't let her wear. My daughters are picky when it comes to clothing and things. So anyway, the little turkey sweater, it might be that it was the wrong size. Maybe that's what it was, but my granddaughter never got to wear it. But my daughter Desiree took that little sweater. I think she took the sweater, but she took the little gobble till you wobble skirt. I don't know if y'all ever saw that gobble till you wobble skirt. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I need to let you guys go. It was really good to have y'all on my side of the mountain. I hope you'll come again soon. And thank you for stopping by. It was so good to see you, Kay. I hope you feel better. I hope you can crochet soon. How much have you been to the doctor, and have they told you how long? I did see your comment, and I didn't respond, where you said you haven't been able to crochet yet. And did you see the video where the lady holds the crochet hook in the crick of her leg, and she just uses her hand to, does she use her hand? What's she use? One hand to crochet all these intricate things. Have you all seen that? But anyway, all right. Okay, there it is. Kay said, I have not. You're getting close. Oh, you've been practicing. Oh, well, I hope you're 100% on the crochet very, very soon. I hope that, um, I hope that comes. Well, thank you. Thank you, Patricia. I try to be fun. My family doesn't always, no, my family does appreciate my fun. My sisters, especially, they like being around me. But anyway, but it was good to have you on my side of the mountain. I hope I'll see you guys again soon. Bye. All right, end the stream.